Traders, welcome into another mighty recap. Was about to do my own recap, my own study session, and then I realized nobody posted today. Pastor cooked. Ohad booked in the bunker. So it's late, right? Let me change the piece, right? We need the spectacular piece for this. It's late, but it's never too late to do a recap, and it's never too late to put in some extra reps. I was about to prepare for my own trading session, but we might as well do it together here. And whoa, in the US it's already 8 p.m. and it's late. This is what it takes, right? No Netflix, no going out, none of that crap, just charts 24/7. So, as you can see from the title and thumbnail, it is a red day for me, right? It is unfortunate. I was in a bit of a heater here, had a few green days in a row, but you know, I'm happy to have my first red day be a smaller red day. If you go back to June, a spectacular month, as you can see, and my last red day was the Friday the 26th, right? Today, I'm down $283. To be honest, I'm very content with this day. This is the day that after doing my full day trading report card, I would actually rate myself a score of A, right? I would give myself a score of an A. Why? Because commensurate to the momentum we saw, commensurate to the volatility we had and the opportunities we had, there wasn't much, right? There wasn't much to work with, all right? So let me actually walk you through the workflow of what the hell happens before I hit the buy button, before I punch the buy button, right? So anyways, I sit down, I pull up my scanners, and let me pull a screenshot here for you. I pull up the scanners and I want to see what's moving. I want to see what's hot. I want to see what has breaking news. And I want to see which is the leading gapper in the entire market. Right? So for an example, let's say these are the scanners. And then these are the leading gapper. We have NCRA, we have VTech, and we have UNFO, right? This little fire here indicates the news. And, you know, there's that. From there, I go to my charts. Let's say that the first stock that I traded in the morning was VTech, right? Remove drawings, VTech. Oops. Remove drawings. And when I pull it up, this is the first thing I see. The first thing I notice is that this has breaking news. Yes, indeed. But the breaking news release was yesterday after hours. That's still something I would trade normally, but with more caution, right? I would trade it with reduced size because I know that we're trading under the shadow of yesterday's move. It's kind of like a day two play. It's kind of like a continuation play. Definitely a worthy setup. Definitely something that I would take a long onto, but it's not the same quality as having a fresh stock with fresh breaking news right here, right now. And what ended up happening this morning was there was nothing, right? 7 a.m., nothing. 7:30, nothing. 8, nothing. And pretty much everybody, including myself, that was sitting here in front of pre-market, eager to trade, we finally gave in. Discipline went out of the window and we said, all right, whatever is the least worst we have here now in front of us, that's what we'll trade. So I did took some stabs on VTAC. It's unfortunate that I ended red on the ticker because I was agreeing to begin with on this kind of like opening surge rally that we had, right? So I was long into this opening surge move. And then, I don't know, I was stubborn, right? I was up a few hundred dollars. That wasn't enough. And I kept on trading and trading and trading. I did size up my biggest in one of these trades here at the open and got caught in a flush, right? So at the time, if I remember correctly, we were consolidating right against a daily level. I'll show you here in a bit. We were consolidating against a daily level, and I thought to myself, well, I'm going in for that breakout, right? I'm going in for that second leg of momentum. And I had a cushion. I wasn't green up that much, but I felt like I was rolling my profits from the previous opening surge trade into the next setup. Which was this daily resistance level here. Because if we did break 175, then we had room to run all the way up to 226, right? So I went in, leaned in a little bit for that breakout. And now this stock sucks. And looking back at this chart in hindsight, that trade was stupid. Even touching it today wasn't the best. The price action was very slow. This was a stock that was listed on Arca, I think, or NYSE, something ridiculous like that. So inherently, the personality of these stocks, whenever they're not Nasdaq, they move slower. They're like turtles, right? So reading the tape is slower. They're grindy. You have to buy so much more shares because you're probably only gonna make a few pennies out of each trade, right? So you're compensating with your share size, but then you can still get caught on flushes like this, right? So look at how grindy it is to climb up. There's this saying that says bulls take the stairs, and then bears take the elevator, right? So I went into the red, kind of like revenge traded a bit down here, lost it all. But at the very least, I walked away the second I went red, right? Even though I wasn't up much to begin with, the fact that I'm going red, that's a trigger for me. More often than not, the second that I go from green to red, the probabilities of me recouping and turning the day into a green day are practically zero. And if I continue to trade, it is most likely for me to hit max loss than for me to recoup and get back into the green. So I was self-aware of that. I was annoyed because of the green streak. Very stupid. Doesn't really matter. But nonetheless, I walked away after hitting another winner on SkyQ. I think it was. I was SkyQ? Why am I red on that? SkyQ was rallying against the 200 EMA. And I remember taking a trade on that thing. SkyQ. I definitely took a trade on that. Hold on. I remember taking a trade against the 200 EMA. And I was doing a review session with one of my guys in the chat room. And I was telling him, well, after this rejection, I was going for the breakout through the 200 EMA. It kind of did happen there. But then we had a quick rejection and a false breakout. Maybe I did take it and sold some shares for profit, held the rest for the bigger move, and then got clapped on the way back down. So BTAC, green at the open, give it all back in a silly trade against resistance. SkyQ, right idea. Well, not really right idea because I guess the trade didn't work. So wrong idea, wrong timing. And then finally, BATL. This one I'm down on. Well, let's actually go over UMPO. UNFO, this stock was part of my watch list. It did not have news. Well, actually, this was a funny one. There were a lot of data vendors and a lot of scanners not showing news on this stock. I remember this now. And the scanner that I used didn't show the news. And because of that, I wasn't able to capitalize on this first rally, right? This moved from 42 cents all the way up to 62 cents. Then another rally towards 64 cents. I didn't really touch it because I thought, well, there's no news, right? If there's no news, I don't want to be touching this crap. Nonetheless, eventually the news populated. The move was gone. But I did take a nice curl riding this stock against VU up here at the market open. So I was able to make some money there. After everything else was dying out, there was a bit of a, whenever the other stocks die out or they rest for a bit volume goes to the remaining stock. So I did take a winning trade on that, right? And that was that. To be honest, I'm happy that I'm ending the green streak on a good note. It could have been way worse. And like I've said in many of my previous videos, I've been putting the winter tires on. We are coming off of a very hot cycle of Chinese, Israeli, Malaysian, hot 400, 500% movers with no news, ironically. And now we're cooling off, right? I was looking closely at Ross. He's a great small cap momentum trader. So Ross to me is kind of like a hotness, coolness, market isolator indicator of how small caps are doing, especially for pre-market moves. I don't think Ross has taken a trade in the last 4 days, right? So that tells me that we're definitely cooling off here. And tomorrow I'm going to bring in that caution yet again. I always come in each morning with a mindset of it's a no trade day until proven wrong. And I kind of like challenge myself, like, can I actually have a no trade day? I remember when was the last time I had a no trade day. It's been years since I had a no trade day. I think Ross had a no trade day today. Eventually, I end up breaking the ice on something. There's something that looks good enough for me to break the ice on, at least with small share size. But my attitude is that when I put on winter tires. When the market's hot, I'm eager to jump on the first stock that starts moving. But when the market's cool, I'm like, it's a no trade day. It's a no trade day. It's a no trade day. I tell everybody in the chat room, do not do it. No trade day, no trade day, no trade day. Until, if it even happens, something is so obvious that you feel pulled to trade. You feel like you would be an idiot to not take that obvious setup, right? And today, I did sit for a bit, just going sideways, trying to keep that discipline up, and eventually did take a handful of trades. 20 trades, 25 trades is very low volume for us hyper scalpers, right? Normally we're taking hundreds of scalps. So 25 trades is definitely me like being very careful and being very picky and keeping risk very tight, right? The only reason why I lost that much in that single trade here, going in a little bit bigger, is because I was already green. I was up like $1,300, so I was rolling the profit on from the previous trade into the next trade, trying to go for a quick win, right? Another $1,000, and then I would have been pleased with $2,000, and I would have walked away. Stupid, right? You don't need to trade based on P&L. It's my mistake, right? Part of the reason why I really truly shouldn't give myself an A, because of two things. That trade was dumb. You want to trade based on the setups and based on the market in front of you. And then also, I should have walked away right here, right? I have this rule where if I give 50% of my profits, I walk away. And this is exactly where that happened. And this rule again and again proves me right? And I am glad that I'm not getting rewarded when I break it. So there's that, right? Nonetheless, when I look back at a smaller red like this, it feels like a success. I like saying that profitable traders are not the ones that capitalize in hotter markets, but instead are the ones that don't destroy themselves in slower markets, right? So to me, it is harder to do this, lose little when there's not a lot of opportunities out there, than it is to make a lot when the market is hot, right? When stocks are going up from 100 to 500%, even monkeys make money, right? But when there's nothing to trade, only real profitable traders are able to keep everything tight, risk very tight, right? So, a red day, but definitely feeling okay with it, grateful for it, and feeling like it was a win, right? Feeling like it was a win. With that in mind, I'm going to let you guys go. This is the platform that I utilize to track my trades. It is called MOREDGE. So if you want to start tracking your scores, and more importantly, if you want to be a probabilistic trader, right? So you don't trade based on P&L, you trade based on execution, based on performance, based on whether if you follow your rules or not, right? If you do all that, then check out this tracker. We're also doing 60% off on our day trading course. Feel free to check it out, right? It is packed with value, especially after this coupon. So why are we pretty much giving the community away? Is because me and RT were this close of shutting it down, right? Of retiring from the money we've made from trading and saying the hell with the community and the chat rooms and the live streams and the Q&As and all that. But it looks like we're here to stay. Why? Because we don't quit. We never give up and we continue to show up for the community. So if you want to be part of the chat room, if you want to have access to the full hyperscalping course, you know, we do monthly? I guess monthly. This should be weekly. I think RT changed this because he's slacking. Well, we do the occasional Q&A. How about that? We do live stream every day. The stocks that we're trading, the scanners, what we're looking at. We help you navigate slower markets, all that fun stuff. And yeah, and if you speak Spanish, I have great news. We actually just launched the hyperscalping strategy in Spanish, right? So check it out. Go to any of the links in the description below. And that one also has a big discount for new members. All right, spin the mighty. Tomorrow, remember, no trade day. It is a no trade day until proven otherwise, but really don't say until proven otherwise, because then you subconsciously are going to jump in whatever the first crap stock starts popping up. So really and truly, we are most likely going to trade, but don't let your subconscious know. So it's a no trade day. I am sitting here just to observe, just to do some technical analysis, read some tape, to hang out with the people in the chat room, but it's a no trade day. Watch me have a no trade day, huh? Watch me. In fact, I'm going to have a no trade day tomorrow, and I'm going to do a recap. Right? Let's do a no trade day challenge. No trade day. I just came back from swimming. That's why my hair is crazy. A little poofy there. No trade day, right? Together. Let's do it together. No trade day. I'm serious. Tomorrow on the recap. No trade day. Okay. Very good. All right. Let's see if you're a man of your word. See you tomorrow, guys. Take care.